Today on the Signature Life podcast, we got Tamra Coulter. She's been a real estate agent here at Signature for quite some time.
Welcome to the Signature Life podcast, where we sit down with Signature real estate agents with a shared conviction that moving towards things we want in life starts with the choices we make today. We are creating an ever-evolving culture for those who wish to participate in a larger mission to help others achieve their full potential and a signature life.
So you're taking Spanish in the car?
Yep, taking Spanish in the car. So, we vacate. Are we doing this now?
We're just practicing.
Oh, okay. So we did vacation to Mexico a lot and stuff. And I have a lot of friends now that speak Spanish, so it's just something I would love. I've always loved languages, so I'm like, why not try? I don't think I'm too old to learn, so I'm going for it.
No, apparently not. So,
yeah.
What was the saying you said when you walked in?
Yo aprendo español en el carro todos los días.
Which means you listen to Spanish lessons in the car.
I'm learning Spanish in my car every day.
Oh, every day. See?
Todos los días
I was
every
guessing.
day.
So when you asked me what it was, I was just guessing. 'Cause I was picking up some words.
Yeah.
And then just kind of piece it together. So I've been doing it a lot longer, and I don't know half as what you do.
Yeah.
But I've been using like the Duolingo app.
Yep, I have that too. I like that because I got the what's that called, the Audible. I learned Spanish like crazy. It's a whole series, and which is great. But I also have to like see things, right? Like because it's great to listen to it, but I don't know how to spell like, aprendemos or something. Like, what does that mean? Like, so I like that Duolingo app. Jesse just told me about it, like, I think 2 weeks ago, because I'm on my 17th day streak.
Oh, wow.
So for 17 days, I've done at least like 15 minutes of, and I like that because you see it, you type it, which spell check messes me up because I put tu, T-U, but it puts T-O, and I don't catch it, and then I get marked as wrong. But I know I got it right.
Yeah, even though you knew the answer, and then you got to go back and do it again.
Exactly.
But yeah, I fell for the same thing. But I think my biggest streak was about 20 days. But I think I've been like 60 days off. So
well, see, we need to like have a little like
competition,
and then we can speak to each other because that's the part too. Is I noticed like then one of my girlfriends, I was like saying some stuff to her, and she was laughing at me, and I'm like, what? And it was like because she's like, well, you should say it this way, or you should do this. So until you have that speech practice, it's great. I think I sound amazing in my car. I'm like, oh, I'm so Mexican, but yet I'm totally not, right?
Right.
So, yeah, I think the speech thing, so we could get a little Spanish club
So when
together.
you're driving down the street, you're like speaking it.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, and now my hands are going like, mi gato es perro, and I'm like, so people driving by me must think I'm just having some intense conversation, and it's really just myself.
Yeah. So my goal has always been to retire to Costa Rica, which they speak Spanish down there.
Yeah.
And that's kind of been my motivation for learning.
Okay.
But like I'll go down there and they speak Spanish, and it's a little different dialect than like Mexico or that. But when you go down there and you try to do that, you asked me before the show if I speak to them in Spanish, and I always have this complex of being like the ignorant immigrant coming in that doesn't speak their language,
right?
And feeling stupid,
right?
Which has given me a whole other perspective on people in our country, in the U.S. that don't speak our language very good,
right?
Get you a little bit more patient.
It does, and then, but I think it's also like everybody I've spoke to, they're like they love that you're trying to learn something new, and stuff. So I think we have to get out of our own ways and just do it. I remember when my middle daughter we're paying money for her to go to private school, learn Spanish. So anytime we go to the restaurants, I'm like, okay, or do our stuff in Spanish. And she would get all embarrassed and shit. And I pushed her like, no, I'm paying money for this. You need to do this, So, and yet now, we were up at the cabin and I'm telling them how I got it. So I can actually speak with her. And she's like, well, Mama, this is why you do it this way. Or, so now she's actually using it more. And I think that there's a level of respect between the cultures then that, you're making an effort. So I think we just have to, remove that ceiling and that fear of looking bad and just go for it, right? Like, and hopefully they do the same. And then now there's that common communication, So.
Yeah, it's fun. So I'm
It
gonna
is.
now that I know you're doing it, I'm gonna make more of a conscious effort to do
Okay.
it. So
All
that
right.
we
We're
can
going to
speak.
challenge each other.
All right, but you got to be patient with me because even though you're 30 days in, you're still a lot further advanced than I am. So
Well, and I mess with Jesse too. I'll say something. He's like, don't ever say that again. He's like, don't listen to Rosetta Stone on that one. Because I even bought Rosetta Stone, but I haven't done that as much because you have to sit at your computer and do it. Which I need to make a conscious effort to do that more too. Because I think it's good to learn the different ways. Like with anything, you're not going to just learn one way, right? Because you might miss out on how to make it even better. So I think having the 3 ways, it helps a lot. So
but you're always on the go, so I think it'd be hard for you to sit at the computer, yes?
I know. Yeah, that's where I'm trying to figure out when can I do it, So I'll figure it out though, because it's something I want to do.
So do you speak Spanish to your horse?
I speak German to my horse, so she knows German. So
Okay.
she does something good, I'll tell her "Yavo," things like that. So with her, it's more German cues than Spanish.
So do you speak German too, or?
I actually did when I was young. So my great grandmother was German. And then my grandmother is German. She was born in Munich.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was young, I spoke German and could understand it and speak it pretty well. But after my great grandmother passed away, grandma didn't speak it as much. So again, you kind of lose it. If I'm around it,
You can pick it up.
I can pick up words and have a little bit of dialect and stuff.
So interesting. Back in junior high school, I wanted to learn a language, so I actually signed up for Spanish.
Okay.
And I think I made it about 2 months, and I realized it wasn't for me, and I ended up switching into German. And so I
Okay.
did actually learn German for a couple years in junior high and high school.
Nice.
And about all I can remember is how to sing "Oh Christmas Tree." So
Oh, really? Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
yeah, but I wanted to train my dog in German because I think
Exactly.
it's a neat language. So.
Yep. And we do the same with our dogs. They have their cues and stuff like that. So, yeah, and it really is a neat language. And now, especially here, if you were to ever want to pick it up, we have such a huge German culture.
Yeah.
Because I thought about that too, learning that, because I'm like, it might be easier for me since I have a little grasp on it. I mean, granted, it's been 30-some years, but still. But that might be later. I figure Spanish is more useful. Plus, we're kind of like you. We want to buy a place in Mexico or I haven't been to Costa Rica yet, but somewhere like that, tropical and Hispanic, I guess, Spanish culture. So I'm like, that's something I need to know, right? Because for our future, that's where I want to be.
It'll also help you in our industry.
Absolutely. Like I have Spanish clients that don't speak a word of English, and I get them from like the lender or a friend or something, and they will choose to work with me because, this is sad, folks within their own native tongue have tried taking advantage of them or something.
I've heard that.
So they're looking outside. So I'm like, that's really sad, So usually I refer it now, but gosh, I'm like, I want to learn how to do that, like be able to work with them still, even if we have a baseline of communication, as long as we can make that effort there and then have still somebody else come in like George or, the Spanish lender that can really seal the deal. I think that's a great additive to your business. And it helps you with your own language skills.
Right.
So
yeah, there was a gentleman in Salt Lake when I was selling real estate. He helped a lot of Spanish-speaking clients, but he didn't speak Spanish. All he spoke was the real estate terms, really.
okay.
So he understood how to communicate the real estate part of it.
Yeah.
So, but and how long have you had your horse?
I've had her now 2 years. Yeah, 2 years. So she's a Clydesdale draft. So
Oh, wow.
she's a big girl.
Yeah.
And she's getting older. She's 21. But it was a good horse for me to start back on again. And prior to that, I was taking lessons on a different horse, and it was good to have the different styles, because when I used to ride when I was younger, you have no fear and stuff. So, I mean, we loved it if our horse bucked and reared. It was like, yeah, let's do this, Where now I have some injuries. I'm a little older. I'm like, I really don't want to break stuff, So she's really good at that. So she's fast and she's powerful.
Oh, wow.
And because she is a draft horse and she's a female, she likes to get in your face sometimes. So, I mean, I'll be in there and that's why I'll post some videos sometimes where I'm in the round pen with her. And it's because she's giving me attitude and I can already see it. And by that, I mean, she comes up and she'll just tower above me like, what? What are you going to do? And you can't let them think that. You can't let them ever think that you're going to back away or be scared, because now she's not going to ever listen to me or anything like that. So, I mean, I literally will push her and yell at her and crack the whip, until she knows her place. And then she'll get moved out on the thing. She's bucking and doing her thing, but then she, relaxes her head and she does her cues. And then she'll come over and then she'll put her head down next to me. And then I know, okay, I regained my level of authority with her, but she still pushes me after 2 years, together. It's a constant, like, okay, what am I going to get today? Kind of a thing with her. So, and some days it's scary. Last week I had an incident with her and she was just not listening. She kept bolting and she even bucked with me on her, which she's never done. But, I had to write it out and let her know, like, no, you're going to listen. And I was scared to death, like, almost snap, because, she's like 18 hands. So she's a big girl to fall off of, But we got it worked out, and she's been good ever since, and stuff. So
how much time do you have to spend with them a week, or how much do you get to spend with her a week?
I try to shoot for, it just depends on kind of what's going on, but I try to shoot for a minimum of 4 days a week, and ideally I'd like to get there 6 days a week. Even if I just go and run her in the round pen for 20 minutes, because at least she knows, okay, I'm still here. We have to work. We create that bond. And some days I'll go tack her up and we'll just walk together, because that creates a huge bond with your horse. So it's not always about just riding her and doing this. Yeah. It's, let's walk together, and we'll walk the arena together and stop. She'll stop when I stop. And, sometimes I'll let her have a little leeway and, like, let her tell us which way we're going to go. And, but then I bring her back and end it with me always controlling the situation, so yeah, but it's so relaxing. I don't take my phone. It's just, I just shut it down, and it's amazing.
Just you and her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's cool. What else do you do for fun?
Let's see. What else do I play? Bunko. The old ladies dice game. So I do that like probably once a month. We like hiking. And lately that's about it. Like, it's my horse, my language, and I'll get a sneak in a hike to here and there, and that's about it.
Do you have a favorite trail here in Vegas?
No, not really. I like them all. So I have a couple up in Mount Charleston that are favorites, and that's just, that sounds sappy, but it's because my old boxer, Malik, and then when the kids were little, we used to go up that all the time. Mm-hmm. And so it's really special to me just because it was like us, and stuff. And he was a rock star. Like, I remember I tied him up one time to stay down, and we were scaling up these rocks because there was like some ice and stuff that we wanted to see up there. And so we climb up there. That darn dog couldn't, he was glued to my hip no matter what. And he got himself unloose, climbed, scaled up this rock to get to where we were, which was a heck of a time, me trying to figure out how the hell I was going to get him back down. I'm like, great. I got to get the kids, and I got to get this dog. And he was a big old muscular boxer, so that's probably my favorites, so. And then we have a new foreign exchange student coming tonight. I have a boy. I have a new
you're kidding.
son. So I guess that's new and fun. Yeah. So he's from New Zealand, so he's coming in. In fact, Mike gets back in town tonight, so they're meeting at the airport. They get in about the same time, so I'm gonna get the house all ready with some surprises for him or whatever. But we have I don't even know how it happened, but
I was gonna say, how do you get involved in something like that?
I don't even know. I'm not even part of Rotary, and a gal reached out to me from Rotary. Said, you came to us recommended that you might be able to help us with a host family. Mm-hmm. And one of our bucket list items is to go to New Zealand. So if I'm being honest, I kind of accepted thinking we wouldn't get approved, because I'm like, well, we're not in Rotary, the kids are out of home, so I'm like, oh, what's the harm? Sure, yeah, sign us up. Well, we got it.
Right. So how long does he stay with you?
So he's in town from now until September. I agree to half the time visit because we've never done anything like that. Now, my daughter has a friend. He was here on a foreign exchange program from France, and he became like a son to us. He spent more time at our house than he did his host family's house. Uh-huh. So I know it can be a really rewarding experience. And this kid seems like a hoot. We haven't like verbally spoke, but just through our emails and he's on Instagram. He's kind of a hoot, you know, so I think he's going to fit in well with us. So it's supposed to be like 4 months, but if they're in such a dire need of host families, it might be until September. So,
well, that'll be an interesting challenge.
Yes, yeah. So you never know what you're going to get with me, right?
So you're not part of Rotary, but you're part of a lot of other things.
Yes.
You know, as I was doing a little research on you, you're board secretary for the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals.
Yes.
I know that's near and dear to your heart.
Yep.
Can you tell me about that organization a little bit?
Yeah. So the VA rep itself, the Veterans Association of Real Estate Professionals, is more for home ownership and protecting the rights of the veterans for their home ownerships. Mm-hmm. So it's not just about getting them in a home, but it's protecting their rights, changing laws that help protect the veterans and the public, right? So now, due to our efforts and lobbying in Washington, we have on the disclosure sheets for the lending disclosures that they must ask if you've ever served in the military, which now then trickles into bringing up the disclosures for the VA loans. Mm-hmm. So it used to just be FHA and conventional, and a lot of lenders just they don't know enough about the VA loan, or they're scared of the VA loan, but they wouldn't bring that to their attention. They wouldn't even ask if somebody has served. So now it's law that they have to ask if you've ever served, which then prompts automatically to disclose the VA
the opportunity to have that, right?
Exactly, because they've earned that, and it's a great loan. So, you know, I mean, people should want to use it, you know. So that's the VA rep part of it. And then more near and dear to my heart, I just got onto the national committee for Stop, Drop, and Push. Mm-hmm. And that's to help create awareness for the 22 veteran lives that are lost every day. And that's super special to me because my grandfather, he killed himself after serving 30 years in the military. Oh. And when we were all so close, and it was so devastating. And he took his life, you know, and it's just something, you know, at the time I thought, how selfish. Like, I mean, I'm just being honest, right? Like, I was like, I can't believe you would, you know, do that to mom. I can't believe you would leave us. Like, why, you know? As I've learned more about suicide, and we've been affected in other areas as well, part of the family. It's not selfishness. It's a lot of times they're just so lost, and
right.
they don't know what to do. And especially I think with the veterans, you know, they're used to my grandfather. He was high ranking. So he knew what his mission was. He knew what his day was like. He knew what his month.
There's a lot of structure.
Exactly. So now to come out and try to reintegrate into civilian world, you know, where it's hugs and kisses and cuddles and, we don't know what we're doing today, we're just going to go with it. It could be very disturbing to somebody like that. And then they don't feel like they're a man or woman to ask for help, so they just deal with these demons until they can't deal with them anymore. And I really believe sometimes it could be just a second, like, what if I just... And unfortunately, that split second you can't take back, right. You know. So I'm really, really excited to be part of that because, like I said, that's personal to me.
Sure.
And to create that, and then I hope that it will trickle to where we can help with just suicide in general, you know, with our young people, you know, hurting and stuff like that. So,
so my best friend in high school committed suicide, and it was the same feelings. It's like selfishness and all that. And why do you do that? And you know, it was. I'm sure he had a lot of other issues, but one of the things that kind of set him off was breaking up with a girlfriend.
Right.
And you know, people think that it's the end of their life,
right? And
you've got so much ahead of you, and you
so much.
I mean, what we knew in high school, or they're seasons. You
exactly.
know? So,
absolutely. And that's why, you know, people always ask me like, oh my gosh, you know, your life must be so perfect, or you're always so happy. And believe me, is far from perfect, and it's not always been great, but I choose to have the mindset to like, what good does it do if I come in all crazy and cranky and blah, blah, blah? Like, that doesn't do you any good. It doesn't do my clients any good. It doesn't do my husband or children any good. So I choose to always, you know what? Today sucks. Like, today really sucks, but tomorrow I'm going to do what I can do to make it better, you know? And so I really try to live that. And I want to make that infectious. I want other people to feel that. So if they are having those days or in those moments, where they're sad and they're thinking they don't have anywhere to go, I want them to know, hey, you know what? Tomorrow is a new day. Yeah, chop today down as it sucks. It was a really crappy day, but talk to somebody, write a journal, go for a hike. Like that's one of my missions is I want to create a group to hike for these veterans or anybody. And when we're having a day, let's go for a hike and even let them lead it. So they're
Clear
leading
your head,
them.
right?
Exactly. Because nature is amazing if you just take that time out for it, so.
Well, if you came into the office in a negative attitude, I'd think something was wrong in the world.
Right?
Yeah.
It'd have to be really wrong.
So I know everybody deals with things, but you do a great job of always being positive and bringing people up. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Even for myself. I mean, in the short time I've known you, a few years you've worked here at Signature. I mean, you've made a difference in my life. I mean, just even on encouraged me through weight loss and stuff like that and helped me through that process. That
was amazing.
You're an inspiration. So
thank you.
And you being awarded the Spirit of Signature, it was kind of the first one on the monthly basis. I want you to know that you were nominated by multiple people in the offices, but I think it was a unanimous decision that you should win that award from the Associate Council. So you do make a big difference. So you do make a huge difference. And then you've got a bunch of designations. You've got ABR, ePro, CRS, MVHC. Yeah. I mean, what drives you to continue to get that education?
I think because if I'm bearing my soul here, I had always wanted to be an attorney. Like I was like, I come from a very mediocre background, so to speak, and things like that. And I wanted to get as far away from that as possible. So I worked really hard in my younger years, and I did it through acting, believe it or not. But we didn't have money for me to go to school and things like that. So a counselor of mine had said, you can work towards a thespian credentials, and then you can get a scholarship to like NYU, things like that. So that became my motivation. And I worked hard at that, did plays, wrote plays, assisted down in LA at the show. So you had to, you're on a tiered level. So I got to the highest tier and I got a scholarship to NYU. So I was so excited because I love learning. I'm almost addicted to it. It's like I love to learn a little bit about everything, and it's probably to a fault because then I don't really master anything, right? So it's like, wait a second here. But it is because I'm just so anxious to take on knowledge, right? So I was so excited. I'm bailing. I'm out to New York and blah, blah, blah. And then I got into a really horrible car accident where I broke my back, broke my leg, my shoulder, things like that. And I was in therapy, intensive therapy for a year, and I lost my scholarship. And now I'm like, what the heck am I going to do? Like my whole high school life, that's all I dreamt of. Like I don't know what else I'm supposed to do. Mm-hmm. And I think for so many years I did walk around just lost. Like I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what my purpose was. So I got married. I had kids. I went to a job, the
things you think you're supposed to do, right?
Yeah. And so after my divorce and making a different path, and I had mentors that finally kind of came into my life and helped build my confidence back up to, hey, you can still do what you want to do. You have to figure it out, but you can still do it. And I'll tell you, that's one thing I love about real estate. It's helped me grow so much just personally, even like with being able to educate myself and then educate those around me, and then I can pay it forward because ultimately I love to do that. I love helping people. If I could get paid to like volunteer, I would so do that because I love that, So real estate's done more for me, not just financially, but personally, in that aspect too. So I think having all that education, that possible education taken away from me, that now that I can get it, I'm just like,
wanting it.
Wanting it. I'm hungry for it. Yeah.
What would be which one of those designations was your favorite to get?
You know what? Honestly, I really like the ePro because, first of all, the instructor was fabulous. It was that, the funny guy that he speaks at our Terry Watts.
Oh, Terry Watts.
Yes. Mm-hmm. He is amazing. And you're like, gosh, I would love to be him someday, right? Like he just is funny. He's out teaching, but yet he's teaching things, and the things he teaches you sticks. Right. So I think that was really good because there was some great nuggets in there. And then plus it was like a fun learning experience, and you walked away with a lot of ahas, but you also walked away not feeling oh God, I just sat for 8 hours or something. You walked away invigorated, So I think that was good because it was all around. It was a good class.
Okay. And then, so you've also gone through GLVR's, the Greater Las Vegas Association of Realtors Leadership Program.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, I did both of them.
And you did NVR's too,
Correct.
the state one. Mm-hmm. How did that change you, or did it make an impact on your life?
It did. The local one I really liked because it kind of taught you a lot of the background and history of real estate and what realtors do, which I didn't know a lot of this stuff. So I thought that was really impactful, and to see how we impact the community that we live in. I mean, it's more than just buying and selling houses. So I thought that was phenomenal. And then on the national level, it was really good because it kind of taught you more about you. Had nothing really to do with real estate and stuff, but just for you, how you to be a better person, a better leader, how to work well with others, things like that. So, because in there you're with a lot of different personalities from a lot of different places, and you work on all these activities about trusting and working together as teams and things like that. So I think that's really important because as realtors, a lot of times we're solo, right? I mean, unless you're on a team maybe, but I would say 80% of us are probably independent. So working well with others, you're kind of by yourself a lot of the time. So I thought that was really important because it really teaches you to kind of put yourself in that other person's shoes instead of just complaining like, oh gosh, I have to work both sides of the deals. Well, you know what? At the end of the day, though, you're making 2 other people very happy. Right. So look at that differently. Don't look at that as an animosity thing. Take it as a learning moment, and then maybe that helps that other person grow a little bit too. So I thought it was really good to open your eyes on, working well with others, being a leader, things like that. So I thought it was very valuable.
Yeah, I like I haven't gone through the local one, but I did go through the state one in 2013. And that was actually when Signature was born. It was a time in my life that I was going through some change from another brand to this, but those skills and that helped me lay out what we wanted to do here.
Oh, so that's awesome.
It was good. And
so see, we owe leadership this,
right?
Huh?
Well, we do. And Janet Carpenter went the next year, and we've had graduates every single year since 2013, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I believe in that program. It's not a cheap program,
right?
But I think it's a good thing you can do for yourself.
Absolutely. I highly agree. I think everybody should go through it.
Right. And so, speaking of that, I mean, something that even costs quite a bit more. You're about to embark on this month.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You're going
Monday.
You're going to Shield Maiden on Monday. So,
yes, I am.
And that's like boot camp. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's what I get for wishing I was like around the military, right? I'm now going to go through boot camp. So
it's a really neat thing. I've been through it. We've had a lot of people go through it. You're going to go through with Aubrey, who's out of our Salt Lake office, and somebody out of
Cindy Bell.
Cindy Bell out of Alaska. And you're going to come back. You're going to be, I don't want to say a changed person, but you're going to look at things a little bit different. It's going to be pretty neat to see you come back. And I'm really excited for you to go.
Yeah,
and I'm jealous that you're going and I'm not.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So every time a group goes, it's like, you feel like you should be there.
Right.
But you start out with kind of an online immersion, or virtual immersion. Right. And so you're in that process. How's that been for you?
It's been really good. So when I signed up, I think I signed up because everybody else has. So I'm like, well, let's see what this is all about, kind of a thing, right? If I'm being honest. Because I'm like, life is good. There's no complaints. Like, business is good. But then when I started thinking about it, like, I never hit my goals. Like, and I think I've talked to you several times, like, I just want to get here and I can't ever get there, So obviously there are a lot of things I need to fix, And so going through this back office part, I've already had so many we have to do these little video diaries now, right? And so on one of the principles we're learning, I kept listening and I'm like, I'm not picking anything up out of this one. All the other ones I was like, oh my gosh, high five and yeah, that was great. This one of the last ones, it was the last one, I just couldn't figure it out and then I'm doing my video diary and I'm basically saying that. And then all of a sudden it hit me what it was about. And I got my aha right there, during my little diary thing. And so it's pumping me up because it's making me realize so many things, right? And one of my biggest takeaways at this point is just, commitment is not comfortable. It's not sexy. And that really hit hard with me because at first I'm like, what does that even mean? But then I thought of like my children. Raising kids is not easy. Raising kids is not sexy, right? Especially I was a single mom, and it's very hard. But yet I was committed to it, right? And so why now in my business aspect of life or other aspects of life, I think that, I'm committed until I get challenged. And then it's like, okay, now let's go over here and try this. Or, hey, let's go over here and try this. Because instead of being committed and going through those uncomfortable stages and stuff. So that was a huge one for me. I'm like, that's so true. Any real commitment, whether it's friendships, you got to sometimes test the times of friendships or with your business, and it's not going to always be easy, but that's where the commitment kicks in. So that was like huge for me. So I'm excited. I'm a little like nervous about the physical part of it.
I don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I'm sure it's going to be great.
A lot of the nervousness is the unknown.
Exactly.
And you've probably heard just enough from enough people that have gone through it.
To freak me out, yeah. I almost think I would have been better not knowing anything. So.
Well, I think they purposely change it up now because people do talk.
Especially since so many of us are going from the same places probably. I don't think that's probably something they're used to, right? Or I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I just know that I'm really impressed with the program and what they've done.
That's
and
cool.
Excited that Satem is part of Signature.
That's huge.
Yeah, and so I think he's a difference maker, and he's going to make a big impact in your life.
Yeah.
And you might go there thinking you want something, or you think something's wrong, and you'll find out it probably wasn't wrong, and maybe you find out something else. I mean,
right.
I went there basically to fix everyone else, not me. But then I found out I had issues too.
Right. I know. It's like, wait, what, me?
Right. So I was in the right place during that week, and the people who've gone through the groups, we've become tight, and they're friendships forever.
Right.
And you'll find that same thing. And then when you come back, there'll be a commonality of the other people that have gone through it.
Right.
So it's neat.
No, it's cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. And so before real estate, first of all, you've been in Vegas over 24 years now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, since 91, I believe it was 91 or 92.
Where'd you move from?
California.
Okay.
Yeah, everyone from California, right? So, and growing up, I never lived in the same place more than a year, really. So, I mean, my mom, we moved a lot, so, but it was mostly in California, so, and then from there, it was the high desert. So in Hesperia, California.
Okay. That's where I got my dog.
Is it really?
In Hesperia, yeah. I'd never heard of it before.
Yeah, right. Whoever did, right? So, we were, that's where I went to high school.
Yeah, small town.
Yeah, it was really small then, we'd just gotten that mall that's there. That wasn't there when I lived there. So they just started building that. I think it was my junior year, because that was the last place we finally moved, and that's where my parents settled and had been. They're still there,
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, but I wanted to get the heck out.
I don't know much about the town. I went in and out.
Yeah. There's not much to know. So.
Yeah. So, what brought you to Vegas then?
Well, like I said, I was in therapy. I was broken. I was depressed because I was like, now what do I do with my life? I had a boyfriend at the time, and towards the end of my final, I was still supposed to keep going through therapy because I'd had surgeries and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I'm done. I got to start figuring out what I'm going to do with my life, because the one thing I knew I didn't want to do was, I mean, I don't mean this in a bad way, but I didn't want to be like my mom, or anything like that. I wanted to do something different. So I'm getting antsy, what do I have to do? So he's like, my family lives in Vegas. Do you want to move to Vegas? Kind of a thing. And so I was like, let's do it.
You moved here for a boy.
With a boy, yeah, pretty much. I moved here to get away, and it was with a boy, yeah. So, but I got 2 great kids out of that boy, so that's a good thing. So when we were together for a very long time, but yeah, we moved here, and my first job was at the Excalibur. No, I lie. My first job was as a data entry clerk at a telemarketing company that got taken down. I'd been there
by
a week by the FBI because they were a major cocaine distributor or something. I'm like, oh my God.
I knew it.
Right? I was like, oh my God. So I left crying, and then I got a job at the Excalibur. They had just opened. So I got a job.
It's funny. We were joking before you arrived. We were joking, doing some research on you and stuff. And Jesse goes, "Did you check their arrest records?"
Right.
We probably would have found her, Beta.
Right? Yep. I scaved out of that. I didn't
Just teasing.
But all the little Barbies and Kens that worked there did. And I kind of thought it was odd that it's a data entry place, but everybody looked like Barbie and Ken, like it's legit. And I'm like, what is this place? But so that was my first experience in Las Vegas.
And you stayed.
I wanted to leave, believe me. I was like, but where do I go?
So you go to the Excalibur.
I went to the Excalibur.
What did you do there?
I was a shop clerk, I guess, over in the Dragon's Lair. My sister-in-law, she was a merchandise buyer there, so she got me the job. I guess I was there 1.5 to 2 years, and then couldn't do that anymore because she's kind of a lot to handle. So then she would tick off the area supervisors. Well, you know what they say about crap, right? It rolls downhill. So then they come down and take it out on me. And finally one day I just lost it and I couldn't do it anymore. So I was like, I'm out of here, and left crying, And and then from there I went to Emerald Finance Company, and I was there for 7 years until we got shut down. So it was
not by the FBI.
Not by the FBI, by Nevada statutes, darn laws and regulations, So we charged a premium to finance auto insurance, basically. So if you were a high-risk driver or a young driver, we would finance it for 6-month terms, 12-month terms, but at an obscene amount of money.
Interest?
Yeah, like 20% or something. So after several years of that, they finally shut us down, and it was really odd because I made really good money, not knowing what I did, and so when we shut down, nobody else was really going to pay you that kind of money, so I went to work for Valley Hospital, so I ended up there for a couple of years, until I got into banking, and then that's
your career before real estate.
Yeah. Oh, and Southern Wine and Spirits. I actually worked there too for a little bit, and I loved that. But I loved that job. Met amazing. In fact, I think I was telling you, I'm still really good friends with my old bosses. They were my mentors and stuff. They were great people. But after my divorce, you have to work some crazy serious hours, and my kids were everything, and it was just the three of us now because I don't have a lot of family. I didn't have a lot of friends because, I worked and I went home to my husband. We did family stuff, kind of a thing. So one of the gals there, she went to go work for this bank, and she's like, hey, I know you're going through what you're going through. So how about you come and we're looking for an executive assistant. I'm like, well, what is that? What do I do? And so there you go. And then I stayed with banking for 15 years, So, and then we built a bank. That was really cool. We sold the bank I originally started off. And then at that time, actually, my kids and I were going to leave and go back to California. We were going to go to Laguna. I got a job at the water district. I wanted the post office. I wanted to carry around the little cart and take it to their mail to everybody.
For real?
For real. High expectations there. But I was going to be by the ocean.
It's good benefits and
exactly.
It's good retirement. Yeah.
Right? And you're just happy passing out mail to people and then not go surf at
and
the end of the day.
I hear it's not an easy job to get either. So
it's not. So I didn't get that job. I did get the job with the water district. And then right before I talked to the kids, look, we're going to get this little tiny apartment that we're going to have to share 1 bedroom, but that's all we're going to be able to afford at first, but we'll have the beach to go to every day. Mm-hmm. And so they were down. And then my old boss called me and said, hey, we're going to put together a new bank. What do you think of, being a part of this with us? And all the offer stuff was really good. So it's kind of like, well, why not? Because then I can just save what I'm going to make, and then we'll just go in 5 years or whatever, and well, here we are. So never quite left, but that's okay. I think things work out the way they're supposed to. So
what was the name of that bank?
Meadows Bank.
Okay. Yeah, and they're big here now.
Oh, they're huge. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm super proud. I still refer everything over there because I still have stock, so I got to keep those shares up.
Well, they're big in commercial lending, right?
Correct. Yeah, they don't do any residential, and I think that's how, even when all the banking crashes went on at Nevada First Bank, we kept a very tight portfolio, and I think that's why, no offense, we got an obscene amount of money for when we sold and stuff. So, and that's why, because we had a very clean portfolio where everybody else had all these residential loans that were going bad and everything, and had lenders just giving out money. We didn't do that. So that same process went into the new bank, only we took the residential part completely even out, which was so smart. So it's all business banking. They might do like a custom loan. So if you're going to build your house on the hill kind of a thing, they would do that because that's going to be more of still of a personal type loan.
Right.
Not so much secured by real estate, but secured by the land, kind of a thing. So they keep a very clean portfolio and stuff. And it's a great bank. So, and we had the best SBA department there. Like, so for small businesses, they are literally the top. They're the one of the only ones I think in the state still that can approve their own SBA loans, and that's a huge award that not many banks have. So
yeah, I haven't done anything with them, but I've talked to them because when we've talked about SBA loans and different things like that, their name always comes up.
Exactly.
So,
they are the best. So
cool.
I'll hook you up with somebody out there.
Right on. And so, what led you back into real estate then?
So the banking thing started changing. And like I said, I got into it because it worked for me with my kids. It wasn't like I was like, oh, I want to be a banker. But I had such an amazing boss. So I was still able to be PTA mom. I was still able to be with my kids when they were sick. Heck, they let me stay home when my dog was sick. Like, I mean, they were just so good to me because they know when I was there, I was working really hard. Like, I always believe in ethic and working hard in anything I do, So I think that allotted me a lot of flexibility too. But now my kids are grown and my husband was like, you always talked about real estate. So backtrack a little bit, before I got divorced, I did get my license in 2000. I think it was 2004 or 2006, something like that. And we were working on a, what's that called? The condo conversion project. So my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, they had their license. They're like, come on, we're making a ton of money, and,
right.
You just show the houses like a leasing agent, right? And I'm like, sweet. Well, it was right after 9/11. So the fingerprintings took forever, and it was months and months. So I couldn't sell, but they paid me pretty decently to just show. So I think I got like $40 an hour or something to just show, but I couldn't talk real estate, right? So then, the divorce I ended up getting divorced and stuff, and I'm like, ooh, I need a real job. Because I got 2 kids to take care of, and to be commissioned, I was like, I don't know if I could do that. I didn't have the confidence in myself, and so I got a real job, So I was licensed back then. So what brought me back into it is I used to tell Mike how much fun it was. Like, oh, I love meeting new people. I love like solving problems. It's not so much like, oh, I like to look at pretty houses. I mean, that's fun, but I love like the little problems and helping somebody and making somebody's dreams come true. Because I know how it was for me, and nobody was there when I got divorced and I went and bought my kids and I's first house. It was such an amazing moment, but my agent didn't make it amazing. Like, we made it amazing.
The experience wasn't good.
Yeah. And then I didn't know at the time, honestly, until I started talking to other people. And then they were like, oh, my agent did this, or she protected me this way. And I'm like, man, there was mold in my house. There was this, like, I had like a lot of stuff I had to go through. And I was like, oh, what a bummer. Like, I totally had a horrible experience. So I always talked about that, like with Mike. And so when I was kind of just done with banking, he's like, babe, why don't you try going back to real estate? Like, the kids are grown. You don't have to worry about this kind of stuff. Like, go all in, And so I saved money for like 6 months because I figured if I'm going to do it, I'm going all in. And I didn't want to like tiptoe around it and to go part-time. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I just didn't want it for me because I know me. And I need to focus, on one thing. So I quit my job, and here I am.
Never looked back, huh?
Never looked back, And I love where I've landed. I mean, you're now one of my mentors. I mean, so many people here within our company. There's a certain something you look for, and that's like even with the bank. I would have followed my old boss Arvin to the ends of anywhere with him because I respected him. I still respect him so much, and there's a certain thing you look for in a company. And I've given up jobs where I could have made double the money because it didn't have that thing. We have that thing here, and it's super special to me. So I thank you for that.
But the thing is you guys. It's it's the people that are around here. So.
Right. So, and I think you attract those people though, and then you can find them, and stuff. And then we all, like you said, we all attract it. And then now our huddle gets bigger and bigger, with like-minded people, which is really good.
Yeah. And how, where do you get most of your business, your real estate business?
Honestly, from my sphere. So, and that's probably why I can't get to my next level, because my sphere is not huge. So, but it does keep me in a nice business, and I'm so grateful for. But I definitely, that's why the Monday mornings is so important to me too, trying to get outside of my comfort zone to create more, because there is another level I want to get to, and I can't get there on my own. But at this point, it's like 93% of my business is from my sphere. So,
which is cool, and it's because you take care of them.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm looking online at all your stuff, and I can't find a review lower than a 5-star.
I know, and I'll even tell you, like, be honest. They're like, I am honest. I can't think of anything.
Right?
So.
And that's interesting. You and Tyson, my son, have started a mastermind group every Monday, and it's on cold calling and prospecting, right?
Yeah.
And yet, that's not where the majority of your business comes.
No, and it's not something I like to do, but it works. That's the thing. It does work. So
So I think that's powerful though, because you're uncomfortable with it. Mm-hmm. You're there. You're making the commitment. You're pushing through. Yeah. And I think the others feel that too. Yeah. And so we
have
more,
a great group.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
and
we learn as much
results
from them as anything we could come up with. I think that's what's great is it really is a mastermind. We're all working together. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, well, what about this? Or what if we do this? So we're all working together, so it's really a great group of people we have.
And it's growing. It's been neat. So, and I appreciate your efforts in that and working with Tyson too, because I think it's helped him grow a lot.
Oh, he's going to be great. So I mean, he's awesome.
He got his first listing last night. So
oh my God, that's awesome!
Yeah,
Go Tyson.
He's helped quite a few buyers, but he got his first listing. He's been on listing appointments, working on FSBOs and stuff like this.
Right.
But yeah, he's like, now what?
Aw, that's awesome.
He knows what to do.
He's going to do great. He's going to do so good.
He's a good kid. And he's not really a kid. He's a man now. But
right, I know.
It's neat to see our kids grow up.
It is, yeah.
So you also are registered with Nevada Housing Division for the Home is Possible.
Correct.
Right? Do you do many of those? Or?
I don't. Not as many as I thought I would. I've done two. So I don't know if that's something I need to market better. And again, get outside of my sphere, right? So that means touching more people. So that's on my agenda for 2020 is touching more people, because that's the only way I'm going to grow my sphere, which is going to then grow my database, which is going to grow my business and help me help more people. So, and it's a great program. I haven't been lucky enough to utilize it a great deal.
Yeah, I think it comes down to marketing, just sharing people. So you've got all these things that you're able to do, and all these things that it's communicating that to people, because if they don't know, they can't.
Then you're being a secret agent, so to speak, again, right? So
and the Home is Possible for Heroes too.
Yes.
How does that differ from the regular Home is Possible?
It's usually a little better interest rate, and then they don't have the funding fee. So that's really the only difference. Otherwise, they're pretty much the exact same. And I've tried actually using that one quite a bit, but most of my veterans I've worked with, they would rather just put the money down and not go with it, Right. So because they can still get a better rate without it.
And then get 100% financing.
Exactly. But it's good if you need it, so.
Okay, very good. You've been Realtor of the Month for GLVAR back in 2017. You've helped numerous clients. I think I looked on Zillow. You've got well over 80 sales.
Yeah.
What else do you want to accomplish in real estate?
Well, I would like to actually hit my goal. That would be nice. And then, I would love to maybe then teach more, teach something and help more people. I'm not sure what that looks like yet. That's funny you asked that, because I kind of thought about that, especially with all the changes in real estate and things like that. It's like, okay, you always got to kind of think of outside the box stuff too. So it's got to be something with helping people, whether that's a class thing or something. I'm not quite sure yet, though. But
have you ever thought of management?
Absolutely. I love management. So I was manager at the bank, and I love that stuff. So I would absolutely think about management someday.
I'll make a note of that.
Yeah. Right?
No, I think you'd make an amazing leader.
Yeah.
You already are a leader, but be part of the leadership team would be pretty powerful.
Yeah, I would. In fact, I think when on my little hiatus, I talked to you about it. Like I would love that. That would be something, an ultimate goal as well. So,
what is you talk about your goal? Let's get some accountability.
Okay,
throw it
so
out
it's
there.
like 40 sales. Like it's not a lot. Because I thought by this year it would have been like 80 sales. Like every year, you up it, but I can't even get to the 40. So
you'll get there.
I'm like, oops. Yeah. So it's kind of embarrassing. It's like, really, I can't get there.
No,
but
that's quite a bit of that's a good production. You know
it
what I mean?
is, right?
And
So,
especially when you give the personal attention that you give, and you don't really have a team of people.
Right.
I mean, it's you working and doing that. And a lot of people that hit these higher numbers have teams of people.
that's true,
So-
and that's where I kind of like have given myself a little like, it's okay, don't freak out, and stuff like that. Because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? But you're right, it's because like I said before, I'm always touching something.
Well, we're going to hit the 40 sales this year.
Yeah. Okay. I
Okay.
like that.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you'd want people to know about you?
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm pretty much what you see is what you get. I'm me, and I can't really try to be anything else. So, and that's it. I mean, I love life. I love doing things. I love being a part of things, organizing things. So yeah.
What would be your biggest advice you could give to somebody looking to buy their first home?
Oh gosh. Interview your agent, definitely make sure you look into them. So, because just like I said, it wasn't my first house. Like my ex-husband and I had bought homes before, but you don't know what you don't know. So you should research that, and stuff. So you can really make it a great experience. And I think because a lot of my clients have been first-time home buyers, and that was one of the things they loved, is that I communicated with them. I educated them on the process. They were like, I was never in the dark. Like I probably knew too much, or something. So I would tell them, research that. Don't be afraid to start too soon. I think so many people want to wait till they have a certain amount of money saved up, or they want to wait till they think their credit's a certain way. And it's like, don't wait to like have those conversations, because you might be in a better position than or maybe you do need some help, but you don't know what help you need if you don't ask. So, I think you've got to like just have that conversation, that sit down and map out your plan, with somebody that's going to be there to help you throughout the entire process.
Well, and you might think you need to save more money. Like you said, they're in a better position, and they contact a realtor that knows, and maybe there's programs like Home is Possible and different things like that. You can get them in.
Exactly. And a lot of lenders are now starting to offer like different calling them first-time home buyer programs again too. So there's so many programs. So that's why, my daughter's getting ready to want to buy a house, but she's like me. I'm kind of like, I like to pay cash for stuff, and I like to save, and then I'm not a big splurger, so to speak. And she's kind of that way too. So she's like, well, Mom, I only have, and the girl's got like 20 grand saved up. Okay, which is pretty good for 22 years old.
Right.
I'm like, dang, impressive. I didn't have that at 22.
There's a lot of people that don't have that now.
Yeah. So
that's good.
So I'm super proud of her, but she's just like, no, I need more. So I've told her, you need to talk with Shelly and see exactly where you are. And maybe one of those programs will work out, and then you won't have to use all your savings, and you'll still have a little bit of relief there, and stuff like that. So, I'm giving my own children the same advice. Start talking to somebody now, And
it better be you.
It better be me. Yeah, right? You can't get a Tyson or...
Right. What would you say would be the biggest challenge that realtors are facing in our industry today?
I think all the noise. I think there's just so much noise. I think we are definitely I am seeing some changes with, like, when I do go on listing appointments, and everybody wants to beat me up about my commission. Everybody wants to beat me up about what am I going to do. Everybody wants to beat me up about the price. Like, they want to overprice, and, they think, we all think our house is worth more than it is, right? And stuff. And so trying to get them to listen. But then as for agents ourselves, and I was guilty of it too. I'm still guilty of it, but I'm trying to be better at not listening to all the negativity, all the disruption, not caring if Zillow, Amazon, Morgan Fairchild, whoever is going to come into the real estate market. Just do what I can do the best way I can do it, and that's going to shine through. And I think that's what we all need to do, is just stop being negative about it and stop listening to it and just do what you can do. Be the best at what you can do. Educate yourself. Come from a place from sincere heart, and I think it's you're gonna be fine, So I think that's the best thing you can do is just get the noise out, and the negativity, getting on there and on social media and blah 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 blah. That doesn't help anybody,
Right.
So.
Well said, and I really appreciate you coming in, and really appreciate the time to get to talk to you. And get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah.
Because every time I talk to you, I learn something new about you. So I think it's pretty neat. So
yeah, me too. Thank you.
On. Yeah.
Thank you. This was fun.
Thank you for listening to the Signature Life Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please leave a review and subscribe. Don't forget to also follow us on YouTube and Facebook.